day. It's one of my favorite holidays, one of my favorite people in history. And I just thought because Dr. King was a man of faith, um, great faith, and did amazing things for our society here in America, that I would um, kind of talk about faith today. I mean, it is faith in footsteps, so I'm literally talking about faith every single day. But, but I think specifically, hey, don't eat that. I've been reading in Genesis, and many of you may know that Abraham and Sarah were actually in the what they call it, the Hall of Faith. Like in society, we have the Hall of Fame, and in the Bible, we have the Hall of Faith, which is in Hebrews chapter 11. So, um, so yeah. So anyway, hi everyone. My name is Anissa L. Wesley. This is my YouTube channel, and this right here is Faith and Footsteps, where we put our feet to our faith. And if you would like to, please subscribe to my channel. Make sure that you like this video. Make sure that you share it with someone who needs some encouragement, especially in the area of faith. And yeah, just come along for the ride. Make sure if you're just joining or if you joined a little late, make sure to watch this video over again so that you can actually get what I'm saying. Even if you came on time, watch it again. Um, so I put in the what's the thing called, the description, as the title. I put laughing at God's promises, because this is probably one of my favorite stories in the Bible. Um, just because it so reminds me of us, how we are when God tells us something. So there's this woman named Sarah, and I believe she was either 90 years old or very close to 100 years old. Come on, bud. She was very close to 100. And her husband, Abraham, God actually changed their names to mean the mother of many nations and the father of many nations. So her name was Sarai, right? And his name was Abram. But he changed their names in their old age while they didn't even have any children, right? Um, which I thought is powerful in itself, because at any time God can change your name to match what He has in store for your purpose at any time. And say hi, Rex. Right? Oh, okay. So I gotta watch and pray. But yeah, so He changed their names and He gave them this prophecy. He says Sarah is gonna bore a son of her own, right? And so she laughs, and it says she laughs with herself. But I think she was laughing at what was said, right? Like, um, I don't know. Um, she's laughing at what was said, because at 90 years old, don't have any children, and you're saying I'm about to birth a child on my own. Because what happened was they already had birthed a child named Ishmael, right? They birthed a child named Ishmael, and because when God told Abraham what was going to happen, um, he was like, Yeah, right. Okay. And Sarah was like, you know what? In order for this to happen, we're going to have to, um, we're going to have to use my servant. So Abraham is like, bet. You giving me a hall pass to sleep with somebody else? Why not? You're saying I can take another wife and have a child with her? Then okay, cool. Right? But that's not what God said. God said it was going to come from them. Still going to bless Ishmael, still going to have a nation through him. But that's not what the promise was. Right? And so, anyway, I'm getting off the point. God told Sarah the plan, and Sarah laughed at the plan. And then God confronted Sarah, like, Sarah, did you laugh? Or it might have been the angel of the Lord. Did you laugh? And Sarah was like, I didn't laugh. What you talking about? She was embarrassed. She was like, I didn't laugh. And she did laugh. And anyway, so then my point is here, how many of us have laughed? Um, Come on, hun. How many of us have laughed at the plan that God told us was going to happen for our life? Because we lacked the faith and we lacked the understand. I mean, we lacked the understanding and the faith to believe that God can literally do anything. And the angel of the Lord told her, he said, is anything impossible for God? Right? So he reminded her who he was in that moment. He wasn't mad that she laughed, but he was like, why are you laughing? Why do you think this is funny? Why do you think this is something? When you laugh at something, that means you don't believe it's possible, you know? You're right. Like, good joke, right? You're laughing at it. But whatever God is telling you is going to happen, you have to believe that it's going to happen. And even if you do laugh at first, you have to go back and say, you know what? Why did I laugh? Because if God is saying, you know, this is what's going to happen, then I should truly believe him. The Bible says if you have faith, even as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, be ye removed, and it will move from here to there, right? So, come on, bud. Put that down. He's about to take a bone home. So, how much more, right? Should we just believe that God is who he says he is, that he can do anything, and that even if it seems impossible, imagine today, right? I don't know how it worked back then because they were living hundreds of years, but apparently 90 was still old, right? 90 was still past childbearing age. And so, wait. I think by that time, by this time, God already had wiped out the earth once. And he made the new age of living to like 120 years old or something like that. Because at first they were living hundreds of years. Um, so that would make sense why you would think at 90, when you only got 30 more years left of life, that it's impossible for you to have a child. Right? He made, they had the baby. His name's they had the baby, and now they're like, okay, what do we name him? And God is like, name him Isaac. And Isaac means what? To laugh. So every time you look at your child, every time she's looking at the promise God gave, she is reminded of who he is, how powerful he is, and that nothing is impossible. She's reminded that she laughed at the promise. And she said, should I have this joy in my old age? Was what she said. And so she got that joy by having Isaac at such an old age. So I think God's a comedian for that because every time you say your child's name, you're reminded of the joy you thought you weren't worthy of, or the joy you thought you were too old for. So it's really powerful. It's really powerful. You should read that. It's in the book of Genesis, and I can't remember what chapter it starts at. I know Hagar is in chapter 16. No, Sarah laughed in chapter 18. And then in chapter 20, he says, and God um, did exactly what he had promised Sarah that he would do. And that part was powerful to me. He did exactly what he promised that he was going to do. So whenever God promises us something, that means he is going to do exactly what he said that he was going to do. The only thing that could stop God's plan for your life is you. Your self sabotaging behaviors, your unbelief, you were not going in the direction of what God is telling you to do. You're going, God said XYZ is going to happen. And you're like, okay, I'm about to do ABC. But no, God wants you to go in the direction that he's saying, even if you don't believe it, even if you don't believe it, even if you feel like it's far fetched, whatever it is, that's what he wants us to do. And so I think that's so important for us to remember as believers. Like, we have to believe what God said and take some walks of faith, some leaps of faith, knowing that whatever he said he was going to do, he is going to fulfill everything that he said he was going to do. Thank you guys for joining. You can subscribe to my channel. Just press the button that says subscribe. You can like this video and you can save it for later and share it with someone who needs it. Oh, there we go. And yeah, I'm just excited because there's a quote, since it's MLK Day, um, there's a quote that says, faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the staircase, right? It's taking a step even when you don't see the staircase. It's saying, I believe in this so much that I'm gonna take a step anyway, right? Well, so how can we take a step of faith today? How can you change a generation today? How can you believe believe God for who He is and say, you know what? Even though I'm feel like this is kind of funny because it seems impossible, I'm just gonna believe Him and I'm gonna trust that He is who He says He is. You know that Abraham believed God and he was counted as righteous. You know He was a man of faith. When God told Abraham, get up early in the morning, after you waited 100 years for this child, I now want you to go into the wilderness, into the mountains, or wherever they went, and oh, okay, really, okay. I want you to go into the mountains, and I want you to sacrifice him. I want you to do that. And Abraham, it says Abraham got up early the next day. I think him getting up early always baffles me. Like I would have went right before I could, or would I have even went? I don't know. Am I gonna go sacrifice my son, right? And before a hair was even touched on Isaac, the angel of the Lord said, "Stop! Don't lay a hand on the boy. Don't hurt him." And a ram was found in the bush as a sacrifice, right? So just so we understand how faith works, whatever God is asking you to do, even if it's difficult, even if it doesn't make any sense, it doesn't make sense for Abraham to finally have the child of promise and then to be asked to go sacrifice him, right? But he just obeyed. He just obeyed. And that's how we have to be. And at that mountain, it was called Jireh. The Lord will provide. So I want you to take this with you today. And if you're still here, then that means this is resonating with you. I always want you to go back and read the Bible for yourself. So go ahead and do that and read Genesis. Read the story of Abraham. You can Google where it starts. Abraham and Sarah. Oh, what's up, Cope? Um, and come on back. Anyway, remember, you have everything that you need to live your life bravely, and you can do all things through Christ, which strengthens you. Bye.